be holding ejaculate responsibly. I tried to give several men that tour.
I heard it went around. Did you pass it out in the State House?
No, we've been getting copies. We keep getting copies in the mail.
Would you mind coming like a step or two closer? Thank you.
Okay, wherever you want.
Do you think that was the first time ejaculation has been said on the Senate floor? Or?
Well, probably the first time they've been told to ejaculate responsibly. Our Putin told me he couldn't put that by his bed because his wife might come home from Slovenia and wonder why he's reading that.
I'm ready when y'all are.
Okay.
Yeah, good to go.
Hello. Somebody.
Well, I think Becky is still getting set up here.
Thanks, guys. Okay. Oh, I'm good.
You good? I guess, what does it feel like to be at this stage with the bill headed to the governor now?
Well, you know, I'm pretty sure he's going to sign it. So I'm depressed. I guess that's a feeling, you know, to have. I'm sad that at this point we've all worked really hard to get it done, and then here we are. I kind of knew this morning going in this is what was going to happen because we've been talking all week and we've been hearing what people are saying. You know, some of the men flip. I don't know, you know, if they got promised something or, you know what, but some of the guys that have been with us like last week or week before, whenever we were here last, we've been here so much, who knows when it was, but some of those guys, you know, voted for that bill even after the House changed it. And so it was a disappointment because I think I made an impassioned plea and we got we got 21 votes on that amendment, which was really good. If I could have just switched 2 more, and I did ask, I went around and asked, but we just couldn't get enough votes to get the 12 weeks. But I am disappointed, you know, and it's kind of like a big letdown because now we're gone yet to fight again. You know, we can hope that our Supreme Court hasn't turned so male that they just, you know, say that it's okay for 6 weeks and we win in court and we have to come back to fight again. You know, I don't think anybody wants to have a 22-week abortion law in South Carolina. I think a 12-week, you know, amendment was a good compromise, and that's what I said, and, you know, they didn't want to go with that. You know, they've got their mindset what they want. They think they know what women want. I don't even think men want what they want. They just have it in their head that's what people want in South Carolina, and I don't think that's true. I've gotten too many emails, too many letters, too many cards, and they're from people in South Carolina. You know, everybody thinks, oh, that's everybody. The liberal North is sending you all that stuff. That's not true. You know, I poll my district, we poll South Carolina. You know, there are people that want that, but the majority of the people in South Carolina do not want what we passed today.
This was a really unique moment in the Senate where all 5 female senators banded together for months.
Right.
How do you plan to take that momentum moving forward?
Well, we will continue to stay together. I mean, you know, we've always been close, but we'll stay together on this issue, but I think there's other things we can work on. And, you know, we've got a good relationship. So I think we'll work together on other issues. I think we'll work together on, you know, issues involving children, families, you know, human trafficking, those issues. But we'll definitely stay together on this, you know, this abortion issue. And hopefully we can get something, you know, it'll be back next year. Anybody that thinks that that's going away because we got 6 weeks is living a dream, because the House is going to bring it back. The House is going to bring back that conception bill, and we know that. We know that.
We were asking Senator Massey earlier about some of the numbers that we were talking about, the high number of foster children still in the building, the high number of kids who are legally adopted now. We asked Senator Massey about that and about how the ban is going to affect those numbers, and he did say it was positive. It's good to have more kids up for adoption. I'm curious your feelings on the fact that the 6-week ban could mean more kids being in the foster care system being up for adoption.
It probably will. There will be more children up for adoption. There, you know, hopefully, you know, we have people out there that'll foster more children. Hopefully we'll have more, you know, people that want to adopt children. But we have babies out there right now for adoption. We have 7 that you could go adopt today that are legal up for adoption right now. We have what was it, 459 in the state of South Carolina that are up for adoption right now. We have 3,800 and some odd number that are in foster care. So those are large numbers, and we need to make sure those children are safe and taken care of. And hopefully we can work on that, and we don't need to increase those numbers. So we just have to work on that.
What is most concerning about the passage of this for you?
Well, it's not what we wanted to see. And, people say, well, you voted on it before, but this is not the bill I voted on. This is not what we, asked for. There are changes. There were changes in, judicial bypass. There were changes in other issues. There were changes in the definitions. So it's not what we voted on before. That's not what we agreed on. And you can't change what you agree on and bring it back. And then we barely debated it today. Everything else when we debate it, takes a couple days but it was kind of just out there, and, they pushed it at us. And that's, that's what I thought was going to happen this morning. That's what happened. And, but like I said, we'll be back another day to do it again, because I don't expect the House, they're glad, I'm sure right now, that we accepted this and it doesn't have to go to conference, but next year they'll want at conception. And so we know it'll be back.
Which of those changes was the most egregious to you that they made?
I think the judicial bypass for the minors, where they have to get parents' consent and all these things. If you're a victim of incest, and let's say it's your dad, and you have to get your dad's permission, to sign off on something, that's really, Dad's probably not going to do that. But some of those things to me, aren't logical. So I think that we're thinking about, I think it's great to think about the unborn, but we're not thinking about both sides of that. We're just not thinking about these are children too. A 16-year-old is still a child.
Yeah. Senator Davis has spoken a lot about the competing rights. Do you believe that there's competing rights here?
I do. I think you got competing rights of the mother, you got competing rights of the child, and you've got competing rights of the unborn. So there's a lot of competing rights here. It's not as easy as it appears, and it pulls at everybody talks all the way around.
Even if the House had kept it the same, you offered a 12-week, a different take, what you called a true compromise. Do you think what you've heard in the interim would have made you not support a 6-week?
Well, I offered 12-week today.
Right, that's what I meant. But even if the House had kept it at 6 weeks, have your feelings changed essentially?
My feelings have changed now because they gave me too long to think about it. They let me read too much stuff. They let me, I've been given so much information now. I've had the opportunity to go read and go Google and go, talk to people. I've talked to people in my district. I've talked to people across the state. And it's like I said, everybody says, oh, you're talking to all these liberal people. No, I'm not. I'm talking to people in my county. I'm talking to people in Red Bank, South Carolina. People in, at Carolina Wings in Red Bank. I'm not talking to, people that are writing me from New York and Missouri and California. I'm talking to real people right here in South Carolina.
What's your plan for furthering the fight for women's reproductive rights in this state?
Well, we're going to be gone for a while, so we're going to see what happens with this and where they go next year. And we'll see what the Supreme Court does, too. We have to wait and see what they do. If the Supreme Court doesn't accept this, then, we'll be back again just on this very same bill again.
So if the 6-week ban that you all had passed earlier had come back up, is it fair to say you wouldn't have supported it a second time? In response, I guess, to Sean's question?
If it had stayed, if the House had passed it, we would have never seen it again.
Sure.
I mean, if when we sent it over there, if the House had just voted and passed it, and I had voted on it over in the Senate the first time, so if when we sent it to them, if they had just voted and passed it, then we wouldn't have had this today. We would have never been back on that. But they didn't. They changed it. They did 14, 15 pages worth of changes. They said they didn't really change it, but you don't do 14 pages worth of changes and not really change it. I mean, I know the difference between crossing out things and writing new lines of legislation and not making very many changes. So.
And to people to those on the far right who say they're coming after you
in 2024. What is your message to them?
You know, have at it. I mean, you know, that's fine. I beat Jakey Knotts, man, as a petition candidate. I'm a fighter. You know, if they're a one-issue person, and if all the things I've done since I've been elected don't mean anything, if all the things I've done to help children and families and veterans and all those other things don't matter, and they are only coming after me on this one issue, then, you know, that's fine. I mean, you know, I'll tell them the truth. I'll tell them what I'm fighting for, and that's fine. I didn't get elected to get reelected. I got elected to do the right thing. And if, you know, all the people that got elected just to get reelected, then I'm sorry for them.
And when are you guys set to come back again?
When do we come? At the call of the president. We'll have to come back and do the governor's vetoes. So whenever he calls us, if they ever get the budget settled, which they don't have that settled yet, but whenever they get the budget settled, that's when we'll come back. Okay?
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you.